Welcome to the Mom Brain Masterclass. I'm so grateful you're here. Today, we're going to go through some powerful strategies for anxiety and overwhelm and burnout. And before we really get into the content, I thought it'd be good to talk about some of the signs of nervous system dysregulation and just have an understanding that none of you are alone if you're experiencing these different signs of nervous system dysregulation. Dysregulation is so common that I think there's become a myth that experiencing a lot of these things are actually normal. They're either just parts of our personality or they're just things that we've, resigned to the fact that we're just going to feel this way. But it doesn't have to be that way. And that is what I want to share with you today, is that none of this stuff here on the screen now is normal. It's not, you don't have to live with this. I'm going to give you tools and I'm going to give you resources so that you can shift out of these states and really start to heal your body and your nervous system so you can experience whatever it is that you are desiring to experience. So before we start, I would love it if all of you guys that are here live on the chat, those of you who are watching the recording, take a second, go through this list, and I would love it if you would count which of these signs of nervous system dysregulation you have experienced either recently or in the past. And just do a count and then drop that count in the chat. And I'm not doing this to call you guys out. I'm not doing this, to put anyone on the spot, but I'm just doing it so that you can all see that there are so many women that we can link arms together, that we're going through the same stuff. And as we work through healing and as we work through growth, we're not the only ones. There's not anything wrong or anything broken. Everyone is experiencing these signs of nervous system dysregulation. It's really another kind of pandemic. 17, yeah, absolutely. 18, yeah. And I hear you guys, ouch, yikes. I hear you, it's exhausting. And I know it can be kind of jarring when you look at these things and be like, man, no wonder I'm tired, right? No wonder, yeah, exactly, a face palm. I get you, I feel you. So you're not alone. And the good news is that you were not created, right? God did not create you to live with all of this stuff. So there's hope for you. He was so gentle with me and teaching me and revealing ways that I could heal my body and heal my nervous system so I could walk in my calling. So I want to share that a little bit with you guys. And I want you just to know that it's available for you too. So a little bit about me and who I am. My name is Michelle Grosser. I am a mom. These are my two daughters here. This is a picture from last year, but Amory, my oldest, is now 6, and Ashton, my 4-year-old. And that's my husband, Jeff. We've been married. This year we'll make 14 years this summer. And that's my family. For the better part of the last decade, I have been a trial attorney. So I've been in the courtroom litigating lawsuits, a lot of work around suing insurance companies. And for 3 or 4 years, back when my girls were really little, when I was pregnant, and then when they were really little, I was also a law professor. And I say all that to say, my life has changed in so many ways. Now I'm doing this. Now my husband and I pastor a church here in Miami that is growing, and it's so active and it's beautiful. But there's a lot on my plate still. I'm still practicing law. I'm doing coaching. This is the work that I'm so passionate about. But there was a time, especially when my girls were really little, that I would bring them to the office. I remember nursing them while on conference calls. And I was just so depleted. I was just so burnt out. I knew that wasn't healthy. I knew that that's not how I was supposed to be living. I felt like I was always irritable, always on edge. I was trying to suppress all this stuff so I could show up as like the strong or happy-go-lucky or positive or all of this stuff that we tell ourselves we have to be. But what happens, and what happened to me when we start to suppress these things that we're feeling, is it seeps out and it leaks out. And all of a sudden, it's a snide comment to Jeff, or it's I'm snapping at my kids, or it's, one email can set me off. And I'm so grateful that a few years ago, I decided to invest in myself, and I decided to really go all in my healing and learning about my nervous system. And I hired incredible coaches, and I invested in an amazing program. And I was able to really, through all of those resources, I was able to heal in so many ways. And now today I can hold all this space and I can do all these things that I'm doing, right? Be a mom, be a wife, run a law firm, run a coaching practice, have a podcast, pastor a church, without it causing me to flip into a state of dysregulation. And I can tell you guys, 5 years ago, there's no way. Yeah, Carrie, you're describing my life right now. 5 years ago, there was no way. There's no way I would have been able to do that. I know it. I would have just lost my mind. I would have been constantly overwhelmed. But because I've been able to expand my capacity, and I'm going to teach you guys how that works today, expand my capacity, I can do more without feeling stressed out, without feeling overwhelmed, without getting burnt out. So I mentioned the podcast. I'm also the host of the Calm Mom podcast. If you guys haven't listened yet, you can find it wherever you listen to your podcast. It's all about nervous system regulation, equipping ambitious and high achieving women through anxiety, overwhelm, and burnout. So we have episodes there 3 times a week. I would love it if you would join us there if you haven't yet. I'm also a certified master life coach. I am a certified neurological fitness trainer. And because of everything that I've told you guys about what I was experiencing 5 years ago and the change that I've experienced personally in the growth of my nervous system, in the healing of my body, I'm just so passionate about this work. You guys can probably tell, but I'm so excited to be able to share this with you today. All right, let's jump into it. So the number one key to superior results, whether it's in motherhood, right? Showing up as the mom we want to be, what we think our kids deserve from us, showing up in our marriage, success in our business, any part of our life, right? Sometimes we think that it's just mindset work, or we think it's discipline, or we think it's an act of like sheer just will and determination. And all of those things play a small part. But I'm here to tell you today that the one thing that nearly everyone overlooks is a regulated nervous system. That has to be the foundation. None of this other stuff is going to work until your nervous system is safe, healthy, and regulated. So there's so many people out there wanting to help, right? There's all these different self-help books. You can find podcasts, you can get mindset coaches and talk therapy, right? Traditional talk therapy. And all these things, in time, we've thought that those were the answers, but the research is actually showing that that's not what actually makes a difference if we want to experience change, healing, and transformation. If we want to resolve our burnout, if we want to not live in a state of constant stress, none of this stuff is the foundation. Because to learn, to grow, to heal, and to succeed at the deepest level possible, which is what I want for all of you, we got to work at the deepest level possible. And that is our nervous system. So let me explain to you a little about why that's the case, right? Mindset work. Man, you cannot turn around these days without hearing about mindset, right? I know for me, at least the algorithm and Instagram, like I'm constantly getting stuff about mindset. And mindset is important. Don't get me wrong. But I want to teach you about afferent nerves and the power of bottom-up processing. So in our bodies, 80% of our nerves, 80% of our nervous system is afferent. And that means that those nerves are sending messages, they're sending signals from our body up to our brain. So that leaves only 20%. That means that only 20% of the messaging going through our nervous system, right, sending all these signals is coming from the top down, from our brain to our body. So this is why you can tell yourself to calm down, right? You can have a mindset that's like, I deserve to be calm. I should be calm. There's nothing to worry about. I'm not in danger. But then we still feel so much anxiety. And the reason why is because all of the messaging, 80% of it, coming from the body up is telling our brains that we're actually not safe and we do need to be on alert and we should be worrying and we should be anxious. We can't tell ourselves these things. We actually have to show our body. It's also why you might feel like you do this mindset work and you're still feeling stuck, or you've read all of the books and you've intellectualized this new information, but you struggle to put it into practice. And maybe you get hard on yourself and you're just like, man, why am I so unmotivated? Or why do I lack so much discipline? Or why can they do it and I can't do it? And it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's just that, imagine a tug of war, with 4 people on one side and 1 person on the other side. That's what we have here. It's 4 to 1. So the 4 people, that's the messages going from your body to your brain. They're going to win almost every time. And it's the same thing going on in the messaging in your body. So I want to teach you practices that can let your body feel safe, your body feel loved, your body feel secure. So it's sending those messages up to your brain. And then you have the mindset work and the body-based work working in tandem. And you guys, that is where the power is. Neurological fitness, it's my passion. It's the work that I do. It's still really new to most people. You guys are here. You guys are already on the forefront of this type of work. You're already an early adopter. And NeuroFit, which is a leader in this space, we're going to talk more about NeuroFit in just a minute, but NeuroFit, their data is showing that the early adopters to neurological fitness and incorporating neurological fitness strategies and approaches in their life are women. I know a lot of you guys attending today, a lot of my audience are women. It's people who are more intuitive, people who are more connected, people who aren't just stuck in their heads. Those are the people that tend to find such success and be early adopters when they incorporate a neurological fitness routine. Also, people who have been through real stuff. I know that you guys here, you've been through stuff in your life. I know it. I know the chronic stress that trauma causes. People who've been through serious challenges in life, neurological fitness has been such a breakthrough for them. And I just want to bring this to light too. I had a podcast episode a few, I think, months back, but my guest was Dr. Cara Goodwin. And she is the founder of this nonprofit called Parenting Translator. And what they do is they take parenting research that's come up in the last whatever how many years, and they synthesize it and break it down into small bite-sized pieces, and then they deliver it to parents. So parents can actually put this research, the findings of studies, all of this different scientific evidence that we have about parenting into practice. And she told me something that's so fascinating. She told me that on average, it takes about 17 to 20 years for research, published research, to reach its intended audience. Guys, 17 to 20 years, that's nuts. And for parents, like I think about myself, parenting research that's coming out last year, now I can't wait 17 to 20 years to know what's going on, what the science is showing, and what's going on in the research. My kids are going to be grown, they're going to be out of the house. I'm not going to need that information in the same way that I need it now. And the same is true with neurological fitness and nervous system regulation. 10 years ago, no one was talking about mindfulness. No one was talking about mindset work. The research was there, but no one was talking about it. And now, right, we can't turn around without mindset work or mindfulness practices. People are understanding the power that's within it. And the same is true for neurological fitness. You guys are early adopters, but I promise you this is going to blow up because people are going to start to talk about the power that's there when you have a regulated nervous system. And you're going to see in a few years, everyone's going to be talking about this because they've experienced it. So what is neurological fitness and why should you care? Neurological fitness is fitness for your nervous system. It's really simple. The same way that we think about physical fitness, right? Exercise, nourishing our bodies. The same way that we talk about mental health or emotional health. Our nervous system has a state of either health or unhealth. So when we talk about neurological fitness, we're talking about the state of our nervous system. And a lot of that work is based on neuroscience by Dr. Stephen Porges. He put forth in the mid-90s polyvagal theory. And polyvagal theory, I'm going to talk about it in the next slide. Once you guys understand this, it's going to be such a light bulb and aha moment for you because it really brings all of this work full circle. So we've probably seen memes or heard that like our thoughts drive our actions, right? Our thoughts drive our words and our behavior, everything is linked. But the underlying root of all of how we operate, how we see the world, right? Our mindsets, our paradigms, how we see ourselves, how we just function and operate day to day, it all comes down to our nervous system. Our nervous system significantly influences everything that we do. So as we talk about neurological fitness today, we started by going through all of those signs of dysregulation. As you grow in your neurological fitness, as you grow in regulating your nervous system, you'll notice that all of those signs of dysregulation start to dissipate. And these are some of the benefits that you'll start to notice that will come to light. You'll have improved mood and emotional balance. Like, can I get an amen to that? That is great news for all of us, because when we're feeling good and when we're feeling emotionally balanced, we can show up how we want to, right? Our perception of ourselves as a wife, as a mom, as a corporate woman, all of that matches what we're seeing in our day-to-day life when we're feeling balanced. Creativity, increased creativity. And I think as moms, we can really underestimate the value of creativity. I'm not just talking about art. I'm not just talking about like painting or drawing or dancing or these things. But when I talk about creativity, I'm talking about your ability to brainstorm and come up with solutions. Like, so often, if your kids come to you and they're fighting about something, or they have this disagreement, and you just come forth and you're like, I've got this beautiful solution, and it works out and everyone goes on the way, and you're like giving yourself a pat on the back because it's such a proud parenting moment. That's creativity. And you want to be able to have access to that. Reduce stress, reduce anxiety, reduce overwhelm. I know that's a big part of why you're all here. Better sleep. For those of you who struggle with insomnia, if you struggle going to sleep, if you struggle staying asleep, if you wake up and you still feel exhausted, all of that is tied to dysregulation in your nervous system. Digestive function. This was a big one for me for so many years, probably for decades. I always struggled with gut issues. Not to be TMI, but like my stomach was jacked up. I was like IBS. I had all of these different pains and issues. I was so sensitive to different foods. I went gluten-free for 7 years because I thought that was what was causing all of the issues with my gut and all the pain I was having in my stomach. And what I realized is that once I was able to heal, balance, regulate my nervous system, my gut, it really started to heal. I went back to eating a balanced diet, a healthy diet, but I wasn't as sensitive to foods as I was 10, 15 years ago. And the last one is really the most powerful one. And that is that you have a greater overall resilience. And I've talked about this a little bit on the podcast, so maybe you guys have heard me say this before, but I'm going to say it again because it's really important. The podcast is called the Calm Mom Podcast. That's because it rhymes. That's because it's catchy. It works for the podcast. But I just want to remind all of you that that is not the goal. As a mom, as a woman, as a human being, the goal is not to be calm all of the time, 100% of the time. And if we're not calm, we're failing or messing up, or that's not how it works. That's not possible. It's not practical. That's an unrealistic expectation we would have for ourselves. What we want is a nervous system that is resilient. That means it can experience something that feels anxious or stressful or overwhelming, but because of its resilience, it knows how to regulate and come back into a state of calm, right? To return to a state of compassion and love and openness and all of the things that we get when we're feeling regulated. Okay. I also just want to comment really quick that at the end, when I finish here, I am going to open up the floor for Q&As. So if I'm going through some of this stuff and you guys questions are popping up or you're curious about things, jot down a question, or you can put it in the Q&A section of Zoom here now, and I'll reserve some time at the end to answer those questions for you. Okay, polyvagal theory. Guys, this is so important. So if you're daydreaming right now, come back to me. There are 3 distinct neural circuits. 3. The first one is our ventral vagal circuit. When we're operating in this circuit of our nervous system, that's when we're feeling open and connected and curious and loving and creative. That's where we want to be, right? That is the quote unquote calm mom space. The second neural circuit is our sympathetic nervous system. When we're operating in this circuit, that's when we're feeling anxiety. That's when we're feeling tense. That's when we're feeling just irritable and on edge. And then the final neural circuit is a dorsal vagal circuit. And when we're in this circuit, when we're operating in the dorsal vagal, that's when we're feeling really shut down. So we're feeling dissociated. We don't even feel like we're in the room or we're in our bodies. We're feeling drained. This is when you just find yourself mindlessly scrolling on your phone or zoning out to a show and you don't even know what's going on. Or I've experienced this, right? I leave work to drive home and I get home an hour later and I'm like, holy moly, I don't even know how I got here, right? I wasn't even like, I was just on autopilot. So when we're operating in the dorsal-vagal, it's a shutdown response. And these three circuits of our nervous system are constantly interacting with each other, right? One is a brake, one is the gas, and they're always trying to interact and keep us in balance between them. And what happens when we're dysregulated is that there's an imbalance in these neural circuits. So I want to teach you about the vagus nerve. This is really important. Maybe you guys have heard about this before, maybe not, but this is going to be really good for you guys to know. So there is this long central nerve that runs from our brain, and it runs down and it connects to all of our major organs. So those three neural circuits that I just talked about, those exist in this vagus nerve. Now, in that vagus nerve, you guys can see it here, that big yellow nerve coming down, there is something called, it's a mechanism in our body, it's called the vagal brake. And the vagal brake is what allows us to shift between nervous system states. So it's what allows us to shift between a calm state, to a state of alert if we need it, or it allows us to shift from a really dissociated, burnt out state and come back to a state of regulation. So it's the shifter. It's the shifter. And that vagal brake, the stronger that it is, we refer to it as vagal tone. So the more toned your vagal brake is, the stronger that vagal brake is, the more precise it is. And the slower it is to transition. Now think about this for a second. What that means is that if you're triggered and you have a weak vagal brake, bam, immediately you're shifted into irritation, anxiety, anger, all of these things. But with the exercises that I teach, you can improve the strength of your vagal brake. You can improve your vagal tone, and there's much more space between stimulus and response, right? You don't shift so quickly out of a regulated state into a dysregulated state when you're triggered. The way I think about it is like imagine a train and imagine the conductor on the train. And imagine you get to a juncture where the train tracks are crossed, right? You can all imagine it. And it's the conductor that decides, bam, I'm going to shift this way, right? That conductor is acting as the vagal brake. I'm going to shift into calm and compassion and curiosity and connection. Or I'm going to shift this way and I'm going to shift into burnout and dissociation and numbing out. So each of those three circuits, it's the vagal brake that's responsible for shifting in and out of those states. That's why we can actually, through these practices, shift from one state to another because we just strengthen that vagal brake and that vagal tone. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the different states. So this is a diagram that was put together by NeuroFit. Again, I'll talk to you guys about that shortly here, but you can see the three main circuits are this yellow one here, the ventral vagal, this pink one here, the sympathetic, and the dorsal vagal here, this blue one. And you guys will probably notice, or you can notice like, man, yeah, I see how I might be in different states, right? Either all different states in one day, or maybe I woke up in a particular state today. And then there's also these in-between states where you can get the benefits of the more positive state, if we were to put a label on it, and the benefits of the more negative state without becoming dysregulated. Okay, so let's talk about the things that have caused our vagal brake to weaken, which means that we are experiencing more stress, more anxiety, more overwhelm, more burnout, a dysregulated state really on the day-to-day. Chronic stress and your allostatic load. So, love my little diagram here. But this blue line that I've drawn here represents your stress level. So in the perfect world, right, if you were healthy and regulated, what would happen? This probably happens when you're a child, right? Is that there's a stressful event and your stress level goes up, right? Your body releases cortisol and adrenaline and all these different other stress hormones and chemicals to get your body into action to respond to the stressor. So your stress level goes up. And then you're given enough time and you're well resourced enough that you can come down, regulate, and return to that original baseline stress level. You make a complete recovery. And in the ideal, that's what we do, right? We're created to be able to respond to stress. Like if I see my toddler running towards a busy street, yeah, I want that system to become active, that sympathetic state, so I can run to the street, grab her, bring her back, and make her feel safe. There's value to that. There's a purpose to it. But what happens is that when we experience chronic stress, we don't have time to completely recover. So instead of getting to a complete recovery, bam, we get stressed again. But now this time we're starting to recover, and we're hit with another stressor. We're hit with another stressor before we can get all the way down, complete that loop, complete that cycle, release that stress, and bam, we're shot back up again in order to respond to the next stressor. So what happens is that we make an incomplete recovery. And when I talk about chronic stress, I think sometimes we can think of stress like, oh, I have a deadline at work, or, our finances have been really tight lately, and that's been super stressful. Yes, those are stressful. But also, this goes back, guys, to conception, infant, like when you were an infant, when you were a young child, when you were in grade school, like if you experienced bullying, if you experienced anything in your home that didn't allow your nervous system to feel safe, chronic stress, either with abuse or neglect, or just some sort of toxicity, some sort of lack of consistency as a child. If you were left to cry for long periods of time without being soothed as a baby, your stress cycle wasn't able to complete. You had so much stored stress in your body. And the thing is that we're not given the tools in the Western world, right, to release and complete that stress cycle. So we feel stressed. We don't have enough time to come all the way down and complete that cycle before, bam, we're hit again. And for those of you who are here, who are like myself and your moms, your wives, you're running a household, maybe you're running a business, or you have a job that's really demanding, the stress is almost constant. I don't have to tell you that. So you can understand why your body's not able to return to that baseline level. And what happens is that over time, that baseline increases, right? You never get all the way back there. That stress actually gets stored in your body. If it doesn't release, if it doesn't complete that cycle, those hormones, the chemicals that are released, right? All of that stuff stays stored in your body. And that's why you start to experience muscle tension, gut issues, migraines, headaches. Your window of tolerance is getting shorter and shorter because all of this stuff is taking up space. It's taking a load on your body. I want to talk a little bit about your window of tolerance. When I learned about this was like mind-blowing for me because it's so powerful. All of us want to be able to do the things that are important to us, right? Without feeling stressed out or overwhelmed or burnt out for that matter. We want to be able to be the mom that we want. We want to be able to run our home in a way that doesn't make us feel like, we're on the hot mess express. We want to be able to show up in our marriages. We want to be able to show up in our workplaces. We want to be able to show up in our communities and in our churches, like all the places that we're involved in. We want to be able to do these things because they're priorities for us, but we want to be able to do them without being stressed out. And the way to do that is to increase our window of tolerance, And this feels like some crazy secret I'm going to teach you, but you can actually increase. Like the reason why I can do so many things that I do these days and hold all of the space and have a crazy calendar is because I've learned through the practices that I teach, right, how to expand that window of tolerance. So let me walk you through these grids really quick. Okay. On the left here, you see a narrow window of tolerance. And that window of tolerance is depicted within this bracket. It's this regulated state of this green, yellow, and orange. These are the regulated states. So your window of tolerance here is fairly small, right? This little line I've drawn, again, is your stress level. So when we notice here, okay, we experience a stressor. Let's use an example of being cut off in traffic, right? We're driving somewhere, we experience stress, we're cut off in traffic. It's okay. We're still within our window of tolerance. Doesn't bother us. Let the guy in, right? Wave hi. We're still singing a song, talking to our kids, whatever, no big deal. We're able to regulate. We continue, we're regulated. Something happens and we're triggered. And this time it pushes us into this sympathetic state. And now all of a sudden we're outside of our window of tolerance. And the reason why is because that window of tolerance is so narrow that it doesn't take much to shoot us out above that window of tolerance into a dysregulated state. So life happens and it can continue to happen. Good things, bad things, triggers, stressors, life, right? Life will always keep on lifing. We have kids, we have partners, we have jobs. All of these things are stressful. Life will happen and we can still stay regulated as long as we're within our window of tolerance. But the minute we pop outside our window of tolerance, either above it or below it, that's when we find ourselves in a dysregulated state. So here something happens, bam, we're shot into the sympathetic, we're angry, we're irritable, we're edgy, a high anxiety, we're worrying, right? The thoughts are ruminating. And then our body's like, oh, panic, overcompensates and shoots us all the way down into dorsal vagal. And then we're exhausted and we can't get up in the morning and we're shut down and we're burnt out and we have a really hard time functioning and showing up. But now look at this grid on the right. This is a wide window of tolerance. And you'll notice here that that window, right, the orange, yellow, and green states, you have so much more space there. So much more space for life to come at you without it throwing you into a dysregulated state. So same thing happens, right? You get cut off in traffic, no worries, I'm in my regulated state. I recover. Bam, my husband makes a comment, or I get a phone call, or whatever it is, that's some triggering thing, and it shoots me up. Notice it's shooting you up to the same level as when you had that narrow window of tolerance. But because you've now worked to make space in your nervous system and you've expanded that window of tolerance, now you're still in a regulated state. And that's why we can sometimes catch ourselves comparing our lives, our motherhood journeys, our kids, our work, our all this stuff to other people, right? And it's like, how does she do all this stuff and she seems so calm all the time, right? Or how is she so busy but she still manages to, like, I don't know, be the room mom, or like all of this stuff. And first, a lot of that is probably a lie going on up here, right, in comparison. But it could be because she has grown her window of tolerance and she has learned strategies and tactics to increase her capacity so she can hold more of what life is throwing at her without it throwing her into a dysregulated state. So what I do is I want to teach you guys how to increase that window of tolerance. We all want that, right? So there's basic habits that are involved with it. And then there's a lot of work in just releasing trauma, releasing stored stress, releasing stored emotional energy that we haven't allowed to complete that loop. And that's really what I specialize in teaching in. So some of the habits, like if you find yourself lacking sleep, I know as moms, this can be a real thing that sometimes we don't have control over. Lack of sleep, you'll notice it, right? This isn't like something new to you. You'll notice that if you haven't slept well, bam, you're feeling a little off the next day. You're feeling a little dysregulated. Same thing with your nutrition. If you're not taking care of your body by what you're putting into it to fuel it so that it can run as it's designed to and efficiently, if you're not working on that mindset stuff, you're going to find that you have a very narrow window of tolerance and you get dysregulated quite quickly. And then on the flip side, it's the opposite, right? When you're sleeping well, when you're feeling rested, when you're slowing down, when you're taking care of your body, when you're getting adequate nutrition, adequate hydration, when you're in a good mindset, then you find that your window of tolerance will widen. And then you'll find that you have the ability to regulate much more quickly. Okay, so what do we do about all of this, right? I know I've come at you guys with a lot of information here. You're probably growing in your awareness about how your body works. I hope for a lot of you that you're feeling like oh, there's a reason, right? There's a reason behind why I've struggled so much in this way, or why it's hard for me to show up in this way, or why I've been feeling so anxious or overwhelmed or irritable. Like no one wants to feel these things, right? And there's a reason. You're not broken or defective or doing everything wrong. It's not that you're not cut out for all the things you're trying to do. It's not that you're not cut out for motherhood or big, beautiful things, right? All the things that God's placed on your life, your calling, your purpose, you are absolutely cut out for those things. It's just that there's work and healing that still needs to be done in your nervous system so you can do all of that without it throwing you into a dysregulated state. It's not how you were created. You were created to have a really big, really wide window of tolerance, and I want to get you back there, right? Life has just gone in the way. I want to help strip some of that away for you so you can grow that window of tolerance and you can feel so much better and show up how you really want to in your life. So what do we do if we're noticing all these symptoms of dysregulation? One, we develop interoception. And what that means is we have to become more connected to our body, the signals that it's sending us, right? This is all about body awareness. So when I talk about how I was having stomach and gut issues for years and seeing different doctors and trying all these diets and medication and all of this stuff, my body was trying to send me a message. It was telling me to slow down. It was telling me that I had some stuff that I probably needed to deal with. It was telling me that I was probably not being authentic in my communication and in my expression. And I was holding in a lot of stuff because I wanted to be strong, or I wanted to, whatever it is, whatever story I was telling myself. I was just out of touch with what my body was communicating. So first and foremost, we've got to get in touch with our body, and there's practices that I teach for that. Then we have to get really familiar with the different states of our nervous system so that we can identify what state we're in. Once we have the awareness, okay, I'm in dorsal vagal today. I see why I'm feeling so burnt out or shut down today, or it's really hard for me to focus today, right? Once we know where we're at, we can do something about it. Once you identify what state you're in, you can, with your vagal tone and your vagal break, the exercises that I teach, you can shift into that regulated state where you're feeling calm and compassionate and curious and all of these beautiful things. You have to learn how to balance your nervous system daily. These practices that I teach, the daily ones, are not long. If you want to shift the state of your nervous system, you can do it in 2 to 3 minutes a day. All it takes. These practices are so powerful. I do this every single morning. I take account of where I am and where I want to be, and then I do the exercises that I know work for me and my body to get me into the state I want to be in. And it's available for you too. And then you got to do some of that deeper work. There is stored stress in the form of traumas, just chronic stress, right? Emotional stuff we've been holding on to. And the more we're able to release that through movement and sound and breath, all things that I teach, the more we can make space. The more we can make space to let in the good so we can become more regulated. And that's the next one, right? To start discharging stored trauma, emotions, and energy. That grows your window of tolerance. And then the last thing is just habits. It's getting into really good habits that are supportive to your nervous system. Some of those are things you might think of, right? Things like moving your body, exercise. You probably don't need as much exercise as you think. It probably doesn't need to be as intense as you think for your nervous system to start healing. Adequate nutrition, but also things that we don't think of so often. Things like play. Are you incorporating play into your daily routine? Play is so important for the health of your nervous system. Moments of stillness, right? A lot of us like to have our quiet time, whether it's prayer or meditation or something, right? That is so powerful for the state of our nervous system to have those quiet moments. So I teach a lot of what these habits are that you can start to incorporate, and you'll see your nervous system will start to heal and your window of tolerance will start to grow. So all of these things that we can do to regulate our nervous system, you all came forward counting, right? Listing out all of the ways in which you've been living in a state of nervous system dysregulation. And guys, I know that it stinks to be there. I know it's exhausting. I know sometimes it can feel like, why am I like this? There's no hope. Like there's moments that are okay. And then there's moments that are really, really tough. when we snap at our kids, when we snap at our partner, like, doesn't feel good. It's not how we want to show up, right? There's a term, mom guilt, that exists for a reason, because it's out of integrity with how we see ourselves, our value systems. When we're regulated, we can walk in that integrity. So guys, I've done this work. I'm still doing this work, and I've seen the power of this healing and this growth, and I want to share it with you. And that is why I am so excited to share with you my first course that I've created. It's called the Calm Mom Academy. I have worked so hard over the last few months to put this together. And if you would give me just a few more minutes of your time, I want to tell you all about it. I want to tell you what's going on in this course, what you will learn, how I can support you, because I want you all to experience this change and healing and transformation that I've experienced, so I can do all the things that I do and show up in such a powerful, present way for my kids and my family and my clients and my church, right? All the different spaces that I'm in. I know it's available for you, and I want to show you how to access it. So there are 6 different modules in the Calm Mom Academy. It is 6 modules. A new module will release at the beginning of every other week. So this is a 12-week program. And guys, now is the time to get started. This is our spring cohort. Everyone that registers now to become part of the Calm Mom Academy will continue together over the next few months. So in that time together, we're going to go through these modules. We'll be able to encourage each other, speak life into each other, share our wins, share our struggles, right? And support each other through it. So really quickly, I just want to tell you what is in each of these modules so you have an idea of what you'd be learning. Module number 1 is all about neurological fitness. So you're going to learn a lot more about the nervous system. We're going to go deeper into polyvagal theory. I'm going to give you guys worksheets and exercises to identify which nervous system state you're in. I'm going to teach you factors that influence the state of your nervous system. And then in every single module, you're going to get 2 new nervous system balancing exercises. Module number 2 is all going to be about connecting to our body. So you're going to understand and map out what your triggers are, right? What your sources of stress are currently, so that you can see them coming. You're going to talk and learn about what your current coping strategies are. A lot of times we're just going through life and we don't realize that a lot of things that we do are actually defense mechanisms and coping strategies. So you're going to gain a beautiful awareness about that so you can do something about it. We're going to do work around the paradigms that you hold about yourself, your role, the expectations that you have, the mindsets that you hold, yourself, your family, the world in general. We're going to do body mapping. You're going to become really connected to the messages that your body is telling you, right? Where are you holding tension? Where are you holding stress? Where is your body sending a message that you haven't been listening? And then in the 3rd module, we're going to talk about what causes nervous system regulation. So here we're going to do a lot of work around trauma. What is trauma? Trauma, by loose definition, just means something that was too much, too soon, or too fast for your particular nervous system. So it's very subjective. Something that might be traumatic for me, maybe a comment here or something I saw here, might not be traumatic at all for my husband or my best friend or something like that. So we really have to change what we think of as trauma. It's not just some big catastrophe. That is also very traumatic, but there's also just day-to-day traumas that some of us have experienced that have had a significant impact on the state of our nervous system. We're going to learn how it gets stuck in our bodies. You're going to learn the 4 stress responses, which one you tend to jump into, right? When you're triggered, do you tend to go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? We're going to do some work there. We're going to talk about your childhood. We're going to do work around your childhood. What kind of childhood experiences did you have that are still affecting you today? And for those of us who are moms, you're going to find so much revelation here, because the work that you're doing in this course is going to connect so many dots. Oh, that's why this is triggering for me, right? That's why I struggle with this. That's why this makes me really uncomfortable. It goes all the way back to childhood. We're going to talk more about chronic stress, growing your window of tolerance. Module number 4, you're going to learn about your attachment style. So your attachment style is how you attach to your caregivers growing up. There's 4 attachment styles. We're going to go through them. And the work that we're going to do is to move you from an insecure attachment style into a secure attachment style. And this doesn't just show up in your romantic relationships as adults, right? It shows up in how we attach now to our own children. It shows up in the relationship that we still have with our parents or our caregivers if they're still alive. It shows up in how we attach to our identity, our work, right? Our finances. All of the things that we attach to come from our attachment style in childhood. We're going to do boundary work. I'm going to teach you how to grow in boundaries, to grow in secure attachments. We're going to talk about the things that God created us to need as human beings, namely safety and love, right? Safety, security, and approval and love. And then how trying to control things factors into that. We're going to do inner child work. If you haven't done this before, this is such powerful work. You're going to get to know that inner child, my inner Michelle living inside of me, and how that inner child often drives our behaviors and our words and our actions when that inner child isn't feeling safe. Module number 5 is all about emotions. I'm going to teach you guys how to release your emotions instead of recycling them, the power that comes in releasing your emotions, the regulation you're going to find. And then in module number 6, you're going to come up with a plan for you and your particular nervous system. So you're going to understand, I have all these worksheets for you guys, your energy type, how that affects your regulation. You're going to create a map of what regulates your nervous system, different practices that are the most powerful for you. You're going to learn how to anchor in things like play and moments of stillness into your day-to-day routine. This work is so powerful. And the core components of my approach through the Calm Mom Academy, they're simple, they're direct, but the most important thing I think is that they're really validated by science. They're validated from research and neuroscience work that's done at these top universities. I have sites to all of the studies. If you're a nerd like me and you really want to get into all of it, I can share that with you guys. But I just want to tell you, if you've been on this lifelong journey to find some sort of relief from your anxiety, from your irritability, your anger, your burnout, all of that stuff, like guys, this is the missing link, right? This is the shift that can change, bring you from everything that you've been experiencing, everything you identified on that first slide, and shift you into a regulated state as part of this program. Okay, I've also created modules for workbooks for every module. So if you guys are someone who likes to do the work and likes to print stuff out and have it organized and get pen to paper, that's where you're going to find the power here, because application is what creates transformation. So I'm not just going to be giving you guys information and expecting you to just intellectualize it and see change. It's not how this program is. This program is experiential. You will actually be doing exercises, right? Incorporating your body so that you're changing the messaging coming from your body up to your brain, which is where you're going to see beautiful healing, beautiful growth, beautiful transformation. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. A lot of you are probably like, okay, this sounds so great, but I'm not sure I'm in a place where I can invest in a course. I don't know how much this is going to cost. I don't know if it's in my budget. I don't know if my husband would be on board. Whatever's going through your head right now, I know you're excited about this, but maybe you're not sure you can make this investment. And I want to tell you something that a coach taught me that was so powerful that I want to teach to you. And it's that making decisions based on what got you here today, right? What got you here today, the pattern of decision making that's leading you to anxiety and overwhelm and burnout, that's not going to get you where you want to be. You got to shake something up. You got to do something differently. It's like that Albert Einstein quote, right? You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So what I'm presenting to you here today is an invitation to step out and step up for yourself and do something different because you're ready for a different result. I know you are. I know you are. And before we really jump into that, I think a lot of you might also be thinking like, can I just figure this out on my own? Like, Michelle, I listened to the podcast. I follow you on Instagram. I bought, a book on nervous system regulation. Like, can I just figure this out on my own? And the answer is probably. But here's another thing that I was taught. You will either pay for what you want with your time or with your money. Time I can't get back, right? Once time is gone, it's gone. If it takes 10 years for me to learn how to regulate my nervous system so I feel more present and more calm and I show up more powerfully in motherhood, I'm not getting that time back. But the money I can get back. I can have a garage sale, right? I can sell something. I can get a part-time job. I can put it on a credit card and pay it off over time. The money I can get back, but the time I can't. And I just want to share with you guys, because I was where you were a couple of years ago. I was done. I was exhausted. And, God is so gentle and so kind that he presented me this opportunity to learn more about my nervous system and to learn how it was created to work and how life had just gotten in the way of that, right? And I was presented with this huge opportunity to do a year-long coaching program, a year, you guys, as someone who does a bunch of this stuff, has a husband and has kids. And it was very expensive. It was very expensive. I spent, mid 5 figures on it. And I want to tell you that that was a huge leap for me. But what I learned there, it changed my life. And I would do it again 100 times, because this is what's important to me: showing up as a mom, showing up as a wife, showing up in my businesses, showing up for you guys and who God created me to be. And I knew that was available to me, and I was willing to take that leap. I remember sitting down with Jeff and being like, I want to do this thing. I've decided I'm going to do it. I really want your blessing. Here's my plan for how I'm going to make it happen. And then I jumped in, and I'm so, so grateful I did. So I want you, this is me coaching you now. I want you, not just today, but just start making decisions in general based on where you want to be. What do you want to experience? How do you want to feel? How do you want to show up, right? How you want to be, not based on where you're at in the fear, right? In the unknown, in the trepidation, in the continued anxiety, right? Because if you keep walking that way, my friends, you're going to stay there. Okay, so are you ready for all of this? Here is everything I'm including when you invest in the Calm Mom Academy. So you're going to have those 6 modules, all the work that's in there, the worksheets. You're going to have access to all of that. You're going to have live support. We are going to have monthly group coaching calls where you can submit questions and I can coach you live on the spot, answer your questions, give you the coaching that you need to move forward, whatever it is that you're feeling you're stuck in. There is a private Facebook group we've created. So we're going to be together in community with a group of women going through the same course at the same time, where we can share our wins and connect and grow. I am offering discounted 1-to-1 coaching. So for the length of this course, which is the 90 days and 3 months, I'm offering 50% off 1-to-1 sessions. So you'll have an opportunity to book as many of those as you wanted, as you feel like you need. If having a 1-to-1 coach is something that you've ever wondered about or wished you could have, this is your beautiful opportunity to do it and get targeted support. And then for the rest of the year, you're going to get 25% off any 1-to-1 coaching that you're interested in. We are also busy planning masterminds and retreats. So you're going to have priority access to anything else we put out. You're also going to get discounts to any future programs and retreats and masterminds and get-togethers. I've created some bonus modules for you guys. There's one on mom guilt and forgiveness, and it has this beautiful guided meditation that you can listen to over and over in the moments that you feel like you're experiencing mom guilt or holding on to some unforgiveness, either for yourself or for someone else. And then there's a morning routine that I put together. It's super simple. It takes less than 20 minutes, all about setting you up for increased neurological fitness. And then finally, we've created these Calm Mom affirmation cards. I have some right here. I keep them on my desk, but you're going to get a digital download for those. So you can either print them out or you can use them as a screensaver, but they're beautiful reminders of the power and the strength that you stand in as you're going through this process. And then exclusively for founding members, so that's you guys, the first cohort of the Calm Mom Academy, because giving is my love language, I have even more for you. And this I'm so excited about. So let me share this with you. This is, let me pause these so I can, I don't know if I'm able to pause them. Okay. This is the NeuroFit app. And when you purchase the Calm Mom Academy in the next 48 hours, you're going to get a free 3-month subscription to the NeuroFit app. And this is going to be like your right-hand man, your right-hand guide through this whole experience. It's going to walk you through everything step by step for just a few minutes today. Each day, you're going to be able to track all your progress. I want to take a minute to show you how it works. With this app, on average, active members report 54% less stress after just 1 week. It's incredible. Within just 5 minutes of NeuroFit training, 95% of members receive real-time stress relief from their dysregulation. And then their nervous system approach reduces stress for 94% of active members within 1 week. So let me show you how it works. This is my computer screen. But you're going to open the NeuroFit app. It's right here. And when you open it, there's always going to be these 3 things. So when I recorded it, I was in week 5 of 6 of these trainings. And I start with the self check-in. And when you click on the self check-in, it has you check into your current state. So you just tap on whatever your current state is that morning when you wake up. And then it walks you through different life aspects. And you rate where you are in your nervous system state in each of these life aspects. So there's this one, it's love and relationship. There's one for money and finance. There's one for family and friends, career and business, all these different aspects. And then the algorithm continues to track how you're feeling in your nervous system in each of these life aspects. And then it takes you through this self check-in. So did you get your exercise in? Only 10 minutes of movement. Did you get any social play? Did you have moments of stillness, right? And then it takes you through these habits so you can stay accountable, right? It's going to tell you you shouldn't eat within 3 hours of going to sleep at night because that dysregulates your nervous system. It redirects blood to digestion instead of using it for the healing that you need to happen in your body as you rest. Track things about, how you're using alcohol, caffeine, different substances, what kind of things you're consuming online, right? Social fatigue. Are you hanging out with people who cause you stress? All different kinds of habits here. And then let me see what else I running through here. Nourishing. So you're going to track how you slept every night. You're going to track how well you were eating, how much water you're drinking, how much peace you're experiencing. Again, the algorithm is tracking all of this. And it's going to give you a summary on your check-in each day. And then you're going to go to this, which is so cool. You're going to be able to track your heart rate variability in the app. So watch this. You check, measure heart rate variability. You take your finger, you put it over your camera on your phone, the light goes on, and it can actually, through the camera and the light that it's sending through your finger, through the glimmer, I guess, you can kind of see it on here, but through the pulse, right, through your pulse and the way that your blood is running through your finger, it can track your heart rate variability. So you see it going here. It takes a minute, so I'm going to fast forward it. But your heart rate variability measures the state, the fitness of your nervous system, your neurological fitness. So the lower the number, the better, the more physically fit you are, the more neurologically fit you are. So you can track where you're at every day, not just subjectively with how you're self-reporting, but objectively, this will tell you. So for me, it said it's processing my reading, and it'll go through that, and then it'll show up for me, and it'll tell me where I'm at that day. And it'll also tell me what it recommends that I do to increase my neurological fitness that particular day. So let's see what it told me on the day that I recorded it here for you guys. So it tells me my heart rate variability, 47 milliseconds, it's up 42%. It's telling me my resting heart rate was 64 beats per minute. It tracks my respiration rate, and it tells me I'm 87% balanced, right? My nervous system seems highly refreshed this morning. So you guys can do that every day and have an accurate reading on where you're at. And then the last thing here is that it really gives you these exercises. So you track where you're at, you track where you want to be, and then it suggests an activity for you. So for me, it's telling me based on how I responded that day, the algorithm is telling me you should do this nervous system balancing exercise. And then it brings up some for you. And the algorithm also tells you, like for me, this one, doing a butterfly, I'll do it for you guys for a second. It looks something like this. You breathe in and kind of contract, and then you breathe out and open up, and you do that for a couple minutes. That does so much powerfully to your nervous system to increase your energy and bring you out of a state of burnout and exhaustion. So it's telling me that the algorithm is saying, based on all my past responses, 89% match that if I do this for 3 minutes, I'm going to move into the state that I want to be in. And then when you click start training, it actually has a little timer here. Let me see if I can show you. You can scroll through. There's different exercises here. You can choose whichever one you want to do. Sacred Rage, that's a great one for if you're feeling angry. That one's so powerful. And then when you click on it, it looks like this. It tells you how to do it. When you click on the little eye, it actually gives you the science behind it. And then you just click start. And for 3 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever it recommends, you do that exercise. And then you notice after how you feel. You mark it in the app, and the app tracks it so that every day it gives you more specialized and targeted feedback on what you should be doing that day to regulate your nervous system. This is so cool. One last note on this app also, for those of you who decide to join the Calm Mom Academy and you get this, I am going to give you access to a trainer code, and you're going to put that in your app, and it's going to link me to you, and I'm going to be able to see your work in this app in real time. So I'm going to be able to see how you're checking in, how you're feeling, what exercises you're doing, how you're taking care of yourself, where you're struggling, so I can give you feedback and coaching in real time as I see you need it. Super cool. Okay, so all of this, the Calm Mom Academy is a $947 investment. So for under $1,000, you guys get the direct roadmap to peace, to presence, to productivity. I'm also offering a 3-pay plan, $347 a month. But it gets even better. For those of you who are here at the masterclass, for those of you who are watching the recording, if you join in the next 48 hours, I'm actually going to keep it a little longer than that, but by Friday night at midnight, if you join the Calm Mom Academy by then, I'm going to take $400 off of the pay in full price. So you're going to get everything we just talked about for either a lump sum payment of $547, or you can enroll. You can pay each month for 3 months for $197, under $200 a month for 3 months. You guys, I know you don't need me to tell you this, but we spend $197 a month on so much stuff that does not invest in us, in our bodies, in our health, in our emotional health, and our mental health, our physical health, how we show up for our families. So powerful, you guys. Also, I'm including a sleep easy guarantee. So if some of you are popping up with some ego stories right now, and you're not sure if this is going to work for you, or you've tried so many things that haven't worked before, or maybe you're like, yeah, maybe it's going to work for them, but it's not going to work for me. It seems way too simple. I am offering a sleep easy guarantee. So that means if you do everything in the course, watch all the modules, do all the worksheets, do your nervous system balancing exercises in the app every single day. And if after the end of the 3 months, when the course ends, if you don't notice any change, if it hasn't increased your peace and your presence and your productivity, if you don't notice those signs of dysregulation fading, you just have to tell me. You just have to show me you did the work, and I will give you all your money back. And the reason why is because I'm so confident. I'm so confident, and I also want you to do all of this work because I want you to experience the breakthrough that's on the other side of it. Okay, so let's recap. If you join the Calm Mom Academy before Friday night at midnight, you're going to get access to all of this, all of the modules. You're going to get a free 3-month subscription to that NeuroFit app included in your purchase of the Calm Mom Academy. You're going to get live support. I'm going to be coaching you guys every single month in a group call on Zoom. You're going to have access to that private Facebook group. You get discounted one-to-one coaching for a whole year. There's so much power in that, you guys. You're going to get discounts and priority access to anything else we roll out forever. You're going to get the bonus modules, that morning routine, the forgiveness meditation, and the affirmation cards. Now, this is normally $997. When this goes evergreen at some point, when I offer it again in the fall, it's going to be at a different price point. So just for the next 48 hours, I'm offering it at $547, or you can enroll in that 3-pay plan under $200 a month. So I encourage you, now is the time to join. My team is actually going to drop the link in the chat right now. You could go ahead and click on it. It'll take you to the page for the Calm Mom Academy. Read more about it, learn more about it. Like, read the FAQs, see the results that people have experienced. And guys, make your decision to make the purchase if you decide this is for you before Friday night, so you can join us in this cohort at this pricing with all of these bonuses, because it's not going to be the same thing the next time I offer this. Now, if you register in this cohort before Friday at midnight, complete the program, and then at the end, if you leave a testimonial, I'll be sending out an email at that time with directions, but it'll just be a 1-minute video about the impact that this program had on you, the experience that you had, how you're feeling now versus how you were feeling before. If you submit that, I'm going to refund you $50. I'm going to refund you $50 just for giving me a testimonial. So that means you're not paying $997, you're not paying $547. You're going to be getting all of this for $497. Incredible. I've actually done so much work preparing this for you guys, but I have checked this price point against other programs out there that are comparable. And with any level of access to the coach, you're looking at an investment of about $2,500. So I encourage you guys to get involved now as you can, be a part of this cohort. I'm not even taking on any new one-on-one clients for the next 3 months outside of this container of the Calm Mom Academy, because I want to be entirely devoted to your success, resourcing you, supporting you, so you can squeeze every single drop out of this lemon. So I just want to leave you with this final question. When was the last time that you truly invested in yourself? And I'm not talking about a new handbag or a new pair of shoes or a nice dinner. Like, I'm talking in you as a human being, not something for your kids, not something from your family. Like, taking a stand and saying, I don't want to live like that anymore, right? I don't want to be stuck in that anxiety and that overwhelm, in that dysregulated state. Taking a stand for yourself, it's so powerful. And that's really my invitation to you. You were not created, right? Your creator did not create you to be anxious or to be angry or to be overwhelmed or to feel like you're gripping, white knuckling control, right? That is exhausting. There is such a greater calling on your life. There is such a greater purpose on your life. The world needs you. They need your talents and your voice. So I just encourage you to make this investment in yourself. Like, stop playing small. Stop settling for feeling like crap. It's time to start stepping out of your comfort zone and really taking control of how you're feeling. So just ask yourself, how you're currently feeling, what you're currently doing, is that going to lead to the life that you want? This might be an important step for you. So I just want to offer that invitation. All right. So if you're ready to join the Calm Mom Academy, you can go ahead. The link is in the chat. Check out that page. Read on it. If you have questions, email our team. I would love to answer them for you. I could even send you a voice note explaining anything that you're not sure about. I want to make sure that you feel comfortable as you make this purchase, but I'm so excited for those of you who are going to decide to join me. It is going to be powerful. It is going to be life-changing. These 3 months are going to fly by. And at the end of it, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, I don't even recognize myself. I don't even recognize the mom that I am. I don't even recognize the wife that I am. I don't even recognize, the community member I am, or the business owner, or the employee, or whatever it is. You're going to experience such deep transformation, because I know I've been through it, I've done it, and I know it's available for you too. So I just want to thank you. For those of you who stayed until the end, I see some stuff was popping into the chat. If you have a question, if you want to stay on and ask it, or if you want if you have anything you want to bring up, go ahead and drop it in the Q&A in the Zoom bar next to where you see the chat and the polls. Put Q&A there. Otherwise, if there's no questions, go ahead, click the link, head over to the page for the Calm Mom Academy. As you go through that information there, if questions pop up, again, reach out. I'm more than happy to answer them. So I will stay on today as long as you guys need to answer your questions. For those of you who came for the information, I just thank you. I thank you for your time. I know there are so many demands on your time and your energy and your attention. So I thank you for showing up today. Those of you watching the replay, I thank you for being intentional and making the time to watch the replay. There is a link beneath the replay video where you can go to the Calm Mom Academy page and read all about it and register there. So if you have questions, I will answer them. If not, I love you guys. I thank you always just for all of your support with the podcast, with the work that I'm doing. I'm so grateful to be able to link arms with you as a fellow mom, as a fellow woman with so much passion and so many things on my life that I want to carry out. So you are such a big part of it. I just thank you. I'm going to open up the floor for Q&As. If there's anything there, I'll answer it. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the Calm Mom Academy. Have a great day. Okay. All right, so someone's asking how the course is laid out. So the course is actually, it's in Kajabi, which is the back end where it's hosted. Once you buy the Calm Mom Academy, you have instant access to the introductory module that has, I think there's 7 or 8 lessons in there right now. So it's all information about making sure you're set up for success and getting the most out of the Calm Mom Academy. And then on Monday, module 1 will start for everyone who's registered in this cohort. And then every other Monday, a new module will drop. So that will give you 2 weeks to really not only watch the lessons, and I'm keeping this information short and concise and bite-sized because I don't want to overwhelm you guys. I know how busy you all are, and I don't want to be giving you just more stuff to do and more stuff to drive the overwhelm and the dysregulation. So the videos are going to be between 5 and 10 minutes average. So you can really just pop them in at different points in the day, or you could sit down for half an hour, right, a couple times a week and really get through it. But then the work through the rest of the time between modules is really all about embodiment. So this is not going to be a program where you just learn. I can promise you that there's enough of that stuff out there, and it's why we don't see results. I am going to give you practices and exercises and all of these different worksheets and challenges and invitations to embody all of this stuff that you're learning so that the messaging going from your body up to your brain actually changes, right? The change that we want to see in the state of our nervous system comes through actually embodying this work. So that's how that's going to work. If there's additional questions around that, go ahead and pop them in the chat. Someone wants to know, what do the exercises look like? They're so different. They're all body-based. The ones that you're going to do through the NeuroFit app are between 2 and 3 minutes. You're going to find that depending on the state of your nervous system dysregulation, so how dysregulated you are, at the beginning, you might have to repeat exercises twice or 3 times. So at max, probably putting in, 9-10 minutes before you actually notice that your state shifts, right? Shifts into a regulated state. As you continue to do this work, or if you're not as deeply dysregulated, within just 2 to 3 minutes, just doing one balancing exercises, you're going to notice a shift in the state of your nervous system. So when I started, it took more time, but we be patient. We are compassionate, right? Our bodies are learning something new, and we don't want to rush it. That can cause more trauma in and of itself. So we want to make sure that we're being patient with ourselves. But if it takes you, you have to do an exercise 2 or 3 times before you really feel the difference at the beginning for the first week or so, it's going to be max 10 minutes. So this is not a huge time commitment as far as those exercises. And then beyond the NeuroFit app, I'm going to work you through exercises, through movement, through sound, right? Vocalizing, making different sounds, and through breath work that is going to help you release stored stress, release stored trauma, release stored emotional energy. Because through the release of everything that is stored in your body, you're going to expand your nervous system. So those are going to be different breathing practices, different movement practices, different sound practices, all just to get your body in a space where you'll notice you start to release this stuff and have these beautiful releases that create space for more of the good that you want to experience. If you've done work like this before, if you're like, I've done, I know all about neuroscience, I've done nervous system regulating work before, that is beautiful. This course is great for people who are beginners. I'm going to start you guys off with a lot of foundational stuff, but you never, get to the summit of nervous system regulation where you have a perfect nervous system, right? There's always depth there. Is there a limited number of seats for the cohort? There is not at this point. So I'm not sure what the turnout is going to be. There were almost 200 people registered for this masterclass. So we're going to send out the replay. But I am believing and I am confident that who's meant to be there is going to be there. It's going to be the group that is supposed to be together. We're going to experience all of this together. And I don't know when I'm going to do the next one. I'm thinking it may be in the fall, but I'm not sure. So if you're not sure, I just encourage you, this is the time for you to register. And like I was saying earlier, also, I have cleared out my calendar. I'm not taking on any other one-on-one clients over the next 3 months. So I can really be present for you guys. I can really serve you, be available to you. So I can promise you that you will have access to me if that is a concern. I have made that an absolute priority. So you will get my time and my attention. But yeah, if you've done this type of work before, there's always greater depth, right? It's not necessarily in the variety of the exercises or the variety of what you're learning and the work. The variety comes through the depth. So maybe it's an exercise that you've done before, but you can go deeper every single time, and you can have a deeper release every single time, and you can experience more growth and more transformation every single time. So that's the beauty of this work. All right. Is it self-guided? Yes. So the modules will be self-guided. The worksheets will be self-guided. You can watch everything on your own time. Something that I didn't mention earlier is that you will have lifetime access to all of this information. So if the first time through, you really do want to just listen and like kind of get a grip on things before you start putting into practice, that's an option that you have. If you feel like you're kind of getting behind or you're feeling rushed for any reason, there's no reason that you should. You should have way more time than you need in the 2 weeks to do that particular module, but there's absolutely no reason for you to feel stressed or overwhelmed to finish it or get through it because you're going to lose access in 3 months or 6 months or whatever it is. If you purchase the Calm Mom Academy, you will have access to all of the modules. If I end up supplementing the course at any point, next year or the year after, you'll have access to anything that we supplement it with, all of the worksheets, all of the exercises, you will have access to that for life. So you can come back to it. If you need a refresher, if you need to do it at your own pace, it's all available for you forever. So you have access to all of it. The only thing that you'll have access to for just the 90 days is the subscription to the NeuroFit app. So that subscription that's included as part of the Academy is for 90 days. That's 2 6-week cycles. So the cycle of the NeuroFit app is 6 weeks. You'll do 6 weeks, do the same thing again for 6 weeks. Research has shown that it actually takes about 6 weeks to heal our nervous system. So the timing is so beautiful. You'll be able to do it twice, but access to the materials within the Academy are yours for life. So you can go through them as many times as you want. All the teachings, all the exercises are yours as you need them. Okay, is this an alternative to therapy? No. No, this is not. I'm not going to be giving out any sort of medical advice. I'm not going to be giving out, psychotherapy. I am not your therapist. I am your coach. I am your nervous system trainer. But if you feel like you do have either physical limitations or you've had mental health struggles in the past, I would encourage you, one, to seek support for that outside of the Calm Mom Academy. And then also just get a green light from your doctor about doing this before you do it. There is a lot of movement involved, right? We're going to include our bodies. We have to. If we're going to make space in our bodies, we have to include our bodies in order to do this work and find that release and find that regulation. So there is a movement. This is not strenuous exercise, but you are going to have to move. So if that's something you need to talk through with your doctor, only you would know that, but I would encourage you to do so before you make the investment or before we start, so that you can make sure that you're safe and that you have the green light. All right. Time is it? Okay, so we've been on for 1 hour and 20 minutes. If anyone has any other questions, either pop them in the chat now or pop them in the Q&A so I can answer them. I'll give you a few more seconds before I sign off today. Okay. All right. Well, I just want to thank you again. Thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end. I am so grateful for every single one of you. For those of you watching the replay, the link is below to get more information on the Calm Mom Academy, to join us in this cohort. Sign up before Friday night. The link for those of you who are still here live is in the chat. So click it. It'll take you straight to the page for the Calm Mom Academy. So much information there for you, additional answers to maybe some of your questions. I walk you through more depth about the modules, what you can expect, the access that you'll have to me and to each other as we embark on this journey together. So I'm so grateful for all of you. I am going to sign off now. Have a great rest of the day.